In 2005, Caroline Benedict Drew, the former chief policy for Providence Mayor David N. Cicilline, became the president and CEO of the International Institute of Boston, IIB. In her first year, she established the International Women's Day Luncheon to build support for women and girl refugees and immigrants, highlight their unique needs, and celebrate their successes. Throughout her tenure, she oversaw a variety of resettlement challenges and innovations. As the U.S.-led war in Iraq raged on, millions of Iraqis were forced to flee their homes due to mass bombing campaigns, street-level military skirmishes, and sectarian violence. Particularly vulnerable were the nation's many different religious, ethnic, and political minority groups. IIB focused on resettling hundreds of Iraqis with varying backgrounds and needs. The first arrivals came with special immigrant visas granted for serving the U.S. government in roles such as interpreters, engineers, or security personnel, which made them targets of the Iraqi government. Other threatened and persecuted groups followed in waves as they secured refugee status. IIB helped many Iraqis resettle in nearby cities of Chelsea and Quincy, where one family went on to found Falafel King, a restaurant chain that now boasts 2 locations in downtown Boston. During the height of the Iraqi resettlement in 2008, IIB also began to welcome hundreds of refugees from Bhutan. They were largely Nepali-speaking Lhotshampa, Southerners who had been exiled in the early 90s when conflicts flared over the government's promotion of a single national identity. Many spent the intervening decade living in refugee camps in Nepal, where they faced dangerous health conditions, but thanks to NGOs, often learned English. IIB helped many Bhutanese resettle in Lynn and Chelsea, and IIB employment specialists helped many find service jobs at Logan International Airport. Each morning and evening, Bhutanese refugees would fill buses between Chelsea and East Boston on their way to help make New England's busiest airport function. In 2011, IIB took on a new resettlement challenge, finding housing for single refugee men, most commonly Iraqi, Ethiopian, and Eritrean, who had been forced to immigrate independent of their families, were not used to living without them, and could not afford individual living arrangements. Sharing a new home with several people whom they had never met, and often beginning without a common language, created a whole other level of uncertainty for people who were already enduring tremendous change. Their IIB case specialists made many house visits to help these new arrivals connect across languages and cultures. The results were often beautiful, as many of these households came to form tight and lasting bonds, and to rely on one another as they worked towards self-sufficiency. In 2011, IIB launched a new initiative in response to a growing crisis in Central America. An epidemic of deadly and destabilizing gang violence throughout the Northern Triangle countries of Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador had led to a record surge of children no longer safe in their home countries. These children undertook long and dangerous journeys, unaccompanied, to cross the U.S.-Mexico border to search for family members in the U.S. With the support from the federal government, IIB began the region's first family reunification program to help unaccompanied children apprehended at the border reunite with their families in safe households, receive physical and mental health care, enroll in school, and integrate into New England communities. The same year, IIB formally joined with the offices in Lowell, Massachusetts and in Manchester, New Hampshire to merge into a new regional agency, the International Institute of New England. This union represented a new era of collaboration, facilitating the sharing of best practices and other resources across locations, and giving each office more options in searching for housing and optimal services for each new arrival. Building on the success of this period, the International Institute continues to provide tailored support to refugee and immigrant women and girls through our Willow Fund, resettles single arrivals as well as families, and serves hundreds of unaccompanied children each year through a program that now spans New England and New York. Last year, the International Institute of New England served more than 20,000 refugees and immigrants, and through its collaborations ensures our newest neighbors find welcome and opportunity in our communities every day.